Welcome back, and today we're talking about By the Grace of the Gods, episode 4. So, like always, let's just jump into it. Episode 4 of By the Grace of the Gods was truly an emotional episode, especially towards the end. It definitely hit the feels. It was an awesome episode. I liked it. But let's talk about some of the big moments that we got in this episode, because there was definitely a lot. And I feel like this episode is setting up some of the stuff that could come up later, like a villain or something along those lines. But this episode, of course, starts off with Ryoma cleaning, what's her name, Miya's room or house. She lives next to a dump, a trash dump, and essentially a wall broke into her house and all the trash started coming into her basement. It was really bad. Honestly, I don't know how she kept living there, and I don't know for how long she was, but they made it seem like the request to clean up the place was on the adventurers board for a very long time, until Ryoma came around and was able to do it fairly quickly. He cleaned up the whole trash dump, plus the basement, and fixed Miya's wall. So she's very, very happy. Awesome moment. We just got to see some of the cleaning abilities that Ryoma has. I don't know if people remember, but whenever, I believe it was episode 1, whenever one of the Reinhardt's guards kind of did the orb to see what skills Ryoma had, I believe his skill level for like cleaning and stuff like that was like 10, which was like the max or something like that. But yeah, we got to see his cleaning skills in action. Heck, whenever he got back to the Adventurers Guild, we see that he's making a lot of money out of this, right? One, Miya, of course, is very grateful for what Ryoma did, so she kind of increased the prize money that he was going to get for completing that quest. And on top of that, there's even a bigger problem in this town, right? There seems to be a problem with the public toilets. There's like 30 of them or something like that, and they're very big. It's like the sewer system for the town, and essentially the town lost its budget, or the budget went down, and they kind of cut the pay for all the commoners that used to live in the town that would be responsible for cleaning this whole area. And since the pay is not there, we see that nobody's really just cleaning this whole place up. So it's piling up with, you know, doo-doo. It's really nasty. I mean, they did a great job at displaying how nasty it was. Just the color of the fumes and everything coming out whenever Ryoma went in to clean was very, very nasty. Now, Ryoma did bring up a good point, and I think this is where we're going to get later on in the anime, where we might get like a main villain or something along those lines, right? Like an antagonist to this anime. Because one, we know that there could be some embezzlement going on, right? Whenever Ryoma went in and talked to Reinhardt about, you know, like how nobody's cleaning this thing up, and Reinhardt is a duke, so he kind of feels responsible for this stuff. He started looking into the books, because the town never reported like that the money was cut and they were short on money and stuff like that. They reported the same kind of earnings. So that means that somebody's either, you know, saying that they use all of this money, but then they went on the back end and kind of cut the pay for all the commoners to clean the toilet area, and they're keeping that money. They're keeping all that money. So definitely something evil is going behind the scenes. Now, on top of that, we see that whenever Ryoma went to clean, he found miasma in those public toilet areas. So that leads me to believe two things. Either it was just because of the conditions that all those places were in, and, you know, it was just kind of stacking and stacking, all that poisonous gas and all that stuff created the miasma, or somebody used magic to create the miasma. Now, they kind of hinted that miasma is a harmful magic that somebody could cast. So either they were planning to do like an attack on the town or something along those lines. That's why I think this episode, while one, it just showed how powerful Ryoma is when it comes to cleaning, I also think that it created a situation where we would get an antagonist later on for this anime. And that would be fine, because I would like to see Ryoma not necessarily fight, but see how he would deal with somebody that, you know, is trying to do some bad stuff for the town, right? Like maybe poisoning a lot of people, population control, whatever the case may be. I would love to see how Ryoma would deal with somebody that would be considered a villain, and not necessarily through brute strength, maybe through, you know, understanding and talking and you know, something along those lines. Because I don't see Ryoma kind of, you know, being the driving force of an army and trying to just, you know, kill somebody. I don't think that's what this anime is all about. Again, This anime is all about the character development, the world, and how Ryoma, you know, from his past life kind of is accepted into this new world, into this new family. And that's why I think this episode was very emotional, right? Because one, we see Ryoma kind of working so hard to clean all of this public toilet area, because one, is harmful to the people that would use it. It's harmful for the people that would come around the area. So he cares about that kind of stuff, right? We see that Ryoma really is just a nice person overall. And once we got the flashback of Ryoma, you know, when he kind of had memories of working so hard that he was working past midnight or working until the sun came up, and that's when he finally went home. I mean, that's an awful life. I can just imagine the level of stress that Ryoma had whenever he was living on our earth, in the real world that we live in, right? Whenever he was working and he had no family, right? Because his only family was his mother, and she would stay up waiting for Ryoma. And it was just very sad, because once we see Ryoma, how his mother passed away, and she kind of just, you know, he was there alone, right? He was alone. There was no other family members, no friends. And when you got to think about it, when you work that many hours, right? When your job just doesn't respect your own time, doesn't respect, you know, the environment that you work in, it's very hard to, one, have friends, because you're never really going to have time to meet people and stuff like that, or find a significant other that you love. When your whole life is dedicated to work, that's just bad. That's just bad. I'm surprised that Ryoma, you know, was just going through the motions every day until he passed away due to sneezing, hitting his head against the board. Maybe there's some other details about that, right? Maybe the gods saw how Ryoma was living his life, and they were like, you know, this guy deserves a better life, and kind of decided to bring him over, and maybe just lied about him passing away. Maybe Ryoma did not pass away, and really was just the gods kind of seeing what he was going through, right? A genuine good person going through life like this was definitely not good. So they kind of, you know, did him a solid, and kind of, you know, they needed the magic from Earth, and instead of, you know, they're like, well, we'll just take that guy, right? Maybe he did not pass away. I mean, I'm just, you know, drawing straws with this theory right here, but it would just seem nice that the gods would kind of be like, you know, Ryoma needs a break, he really does, and they brought him over to this. And I'm glad they did, because whenever he opened that door to the Reinhardt family estate, they were all waiting for him, kind of reminded him of his mother, and that was a very sad moment, because, I mean, this dude, whenever he came to the new world, he was living by himself for 3 years, right? To the point where he didn't even know how to talk to other human beings. So the fact that, you know, he met this new family that's willing to take him in, loves him for who he is, right? They're not trying to exploit him for everything that he knows and stuff like that. It was a very sad moment, and it kind of, you know, touched me a little bit. It was really a good moment in this anime. I did not think this anime was going to get that emotional. They kind of threw that mother the wrench in there, and it definitely, you know, it was really well done. It definitely got people, you know, attached to Ryoma as a character, and I'm glad I'm here for this journey, because this anime, while it's not great with the animation, it's not going to have great fights. The characters are very well written. I like the way their story is going, and I cannot wait to see more about this anime, right? Where's Ryoma's adventure going to go after this? Because after this episode, you know, now that he has a family, he's working hard to, you know, keep the people safe in this town, right? Where is it going to go? So this is where I think there might be like an antagonist showing up, like one of the nobles that doesn't care about, you know, the commoners or anything like that. And they're actually embezzling money, and, you know, this might lead to some conflict, right? And of course, Ryoma is going to get involved in some way, somehow, and he might actually find a way to actually, you know, conflict resolution everything with some good diplomacy skills. We'll see where this one goes. Overall, great episode. I liked the new characters that we got. I mean, we got to meet a whole new set of adventurers. They seem pretty high level, I'm guessing. So maybe those are going to be the characters that we're going to see around the story later on, whenever Ryoma, you know, as he raises the rank as an adventurer, is going to eventually stop being about cleaning and, you know, maybe going out into adventure with some of these characters. I love Miya. She's very cute. She's very awesome. And I have to say, Ryoma be getting some of the best prizes out here, okay? I believe it was episode 2 episode 2, I believe, whenever Ryoma met Reinhardt's wife and she hugged him again. He was he was definitely having a good time. And then this episode, Mia did the same thing, so Ryoma once again was having a great time. Yeah, overall, great episode. I cannot wait to get more. I really am liking where that story of this is going. Seeing Ryoma being loved is actually really awesome, because they are, every time they show a flashback of how Ryoma used to live on Earth and how he was overworked and how lonely he was. It's very sad. I mean, nobody deserves to be that lonely. But yeah, I can't wait for episode 5. Like always, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode.